Hello, and welcome to this mid-morning taste challenge. So I have two silver rums. I want to go cut the grass, but I'm waiting for the grass to dry. It's not dry enough. I don't cut wet grass. So this is Ron Pontalba, sort of a basic looking label, imported from the Caribbean islands, bottled by Wide World Importers, Frankfort, Kentucky. Well, you're not going to find a website for Wide World Importers, but you will find a website for the name below, Sazerac.com. It just cracks me up. It's funny to me that they'll say Wide World Importers, and then right below it, they'll say Sazerac.com. Why do you have all these alias names? I don't know. This is a 1989 introduction. Doesn't look like they changed the labels since 1989. Apparently, this is very popular in Texas. I've had people tell me that. I don't go to Texas and examine their rum, sales, but I see it around in Louisiana, here, there, not too common. I bought this white rum that says white on the label at Ricky's Discount Liquors in Kenner, Louisiana on not United States Highway, Louisiana Highway 49 on the southbound side. And it's a very popular liquor store, and they were open on Christmas Day last year. I went there on Christmas Day, interestingly enough. So got a cream-colored cap, cream-colored label. So, pretty nice-looking label. But the people commenting said, oh, it's very popular in Texas. It's real big out there, Around here, a few stores have it, like here, there, and maybe one other place. But common, no, it's not common, not to Louisiana. Although it's funny because Sazerac is headquartered in Louisiana, in New Orleans, on the corner of Magazine Street and Poydras Avenue. And the Pontalba apartments are in the French Quarter, and they were built by Michaela Almonaster di Pontalba. I couldn't think of it. Michaela Almonaster was a Spanish grandee, like her father was a Spanish noble, like the minor nobles, not a prince, but a grandee, like a baron in England or something like that. But so they were prominent around here in Louisiana. She was born in Spain, but I think she grew up around here. And so she married this French guy named Pontalba. And I think he was Baron de Pontalba of France. And they got married. They had a bunch of children who ended up living in France. And their family all lives in France today. But whatever, apparently they didn't get along too well, and they kind of didn't really stay. They weren't divorced, but they didn't really hang out together after a few years of marriage. And he kind of went back to France, and she stayed in Louisiana, but they weren't divorced. But he died, and then she got involved in real estate, believe it or not. And I think she died in the 1870s. She was really old, and she died in the 1870s. But she had these apartments built on either side of. A lot of viewers have been to New Orleans, have been to the French Quarter. So if you ever go to the French Quarter, you see these red brick sandstone, maybe it's sandstone buildings on either the north side and the south side of the Jackson Square, the Plaza de Armas, the middle central part of New Orleans. Those are the Pontalba apartments that she built. And then somehow after she died, the family sold it to the state government. Still there. You can rent them. There'd be many thousands of dollars a month to rent them, but and you got to get on the waiting list. But if you look at the grill work, the iron, the railings on the balconies all around, the railings say AP all the way around, AP, north side and south side. And that's Almonaster Pontalba, AP, her family and his family. All right, so I like these products because they may not be popular really, but they have a history behind them. That's a very interesting history, isn't it? Okay. And on the bottom floor, the first floor is all shops. There's a little theater. there was a toy store for years. I don't know if the toy store is still there. There's some restaurants in there, everything. All right, so pretty famous store, famous area. I don't know about the story's famous, and there is Almonaster Avenue in New Orleans, named after her. Yeah, I don't know if there's a Pontalba Street. If there is, I'm not familiar with it. It could be in some outlying area that's not too well known. Okay, there we go. This product, I don't know when it was introduced. I tried and tried and tried, and then I gave up. And this is Calypso, and they show it looks like a Mrs. Captain Morgan. This is Captain Morgan's daughter. She got her foot cocked up, but it's cocked up on nothing. I guess they didn't want to put her foot up on a barrel because they'd be pushing the issue too much and they could run into some trademark problems. So they went as far as they could without getting a lawsuit. But they got the same color scheme, blue and red with silver and gold. I was at Walmart this morning and I was looking at their Captain Morgan rums, like their white rum, Captain Morgan silver rum, but they call it Captain Morgan white. And I was like, oh man, these guys are something else. It's like the same label. But there it is. She got her sword. Yeah. Silver rum with natural flavors. And there's a story on the back about Calypso, the Greek goddess, and Odysseus, which has nothing to do with British Caribbean exploration and colonialization. So even the label's pretty funny. I paid $5.89 for that. $5.89 at Ralston Liquor in Houston, Texas, 2 years ago. $5.89. And I just opened it in the past week. And people kept asking me about Calypso. When are you going to do Calypso? I said, I'm not really familiar with Calypso, but then I found it, silver cap. So I had to do silver plastic. So I had to do it, I only paid $6.99 for this handle. I mean, this liter, not a handle, a liter bottle. So $6.99 for the liter at Ricky's Discount Liquor in Kenner, Louisiana, famous place around here. And $5.89 for the regular $7.50. So, they're about the same price per ounce. All right. And they're both from Sazerac, no matter what alias company they're using, name they're using. And I have to tell you that I've done 2 taste challenges already, and I've gotten 0 right and 2 wrong. And I think the Calypso was throwing me for a loop because the rums that were juicier and more sugary, I was thinking was the competitor. But the funny thing about it is that the ones that were juicier and more sugary were the Calypso. So I said, I got to keep this in mind when I do these challenges. If it's sugary and has like sugarcane stalk, a grassy flavor, that's the Calypso. So that's got me throwed off. Yeah, it's a rum with natural flavors. It says it on the bottle. What does it say exactly? Rum with natural flavors, plural flavors, more than one flavor. What are the flavors? Your guess is as good as mine, I guess. Your guess is as good as mine, I guess. A lot of guessing going on. But to me, it tastes like they're adding sugar, like just a spoonful of sugar, and it's helping the medicine go down. And they're adding vanilla extract. But really, I don't know what they're adding. It's conjecture because they don't release their flavorings. Like when I called Buffalo Trace, they told me, they don't release that. But the guy on the phone said, to me, it tastes like they added vanilla, but he said, that's just what it tastes like to me. I don't know. He said, but that's a common thing for the company. They started doing that about 5 years ago, which now would be 6 years ago. He said, no, 7. That was in 2022, and I called him. I called him earlier this year and talked to a lady. So you're saying that they just started doing that with all their what he called low-end products, adding natural flavors. But they don't universally do that, okay? Don't get that wrong. They do it, but they don't totally do it because I was just like I told you, I was just at Walmart 2 hours ago and they had no, Taka on the shelf. The regular glass bottles and the big plastic. And they were just pure vodka. It wasn't with natural flavors, just pure vodka. Skull. Keep saying Skull. But a lot of people sell Skull around here. Taka vodka. Wasn't Taka 80. Now, if you see Taka 80, it has a slightly different label, which I couldn't understand at first, but it's vodka with natural flavors. If you just get Taka and it says 80 proof and it'll say vodka, of course, premium vodka. Of course, premium. Everything's premium. So, yeah, that's a story on that. Here we go. Man, I hope I get this right. I want to start winning and get 1 and 2, 2 and 2, 3 and 2, 4 and 2, 5 and 2, 6 and 2, 7 and 2, 8 and 2, 9 and 2, and finish out with a really strong record. Well, there's grassiness, but not a whole lot, and there's not a whole lot of like sugary, like you would think, aroma. So it's kind of neutral in the aroma. This is basically the same. I think. Oh, spilled a little bit. I think their products are sort of neutral in aroma. Well, let me get a towel. Sorry about that. I seem like I have mishaps when I do these. Getting back to the point. So some rums, they are very aromatic, have a lot of character in the nose when you smell. But these Sazerac, they don't usually really. Now they do sort of in the flavor have some very interesting characteristics, but in the aroma they don't. So there we go. Ron Calypso over here and Ron Pontalba over here. If they taste the same, well, I'll be shocked. No, I won't be shocked because they're coming from the same company. They're bottled at the same facility in Frankfort, Kentucky's Buffalo Trace. But now this is from the Caribbean islands. It says the Caribbean islands. Which islands? You'll never know. Could it be a blend of cheap rums from different Caribbean islands, like say St. Croix or one of the British Virgin Islands or Puerto Rico? Yeah, it very likely is a blend that they got on auction because they'll bid on these things, and some of them be really low grade. But I'm not saying these are. I'm just saying some will be. You're not going to be selling stuff for that low of a price, and it's the highest and the best. I don't care what the label says. Talking about premium and exceptional and everything. But that's marketing. It's not legal. There's marketing terms and there's legal terms. A legal term is this. So the legal term is that rum. That's what it is. It's rum. That's their disclosure. Now, the legal term here is rum with natural flavors. That's it. You actually have to have that on every liquor bottle. All right. You can have marketing terminology, what they call that, marketing um, statements. The government doesn't care. As long as it's not misleading or deceptive or whatever, what they call it. But you have to have somewhere on the label, beer, wine, or liquor, you have to have a legal disclosure, a statement of what it actually is. And if you look carefully on all these beer, wine, and liquor bottles, they'll have that. And it won't be as like funny or snarky or like hilarious. It'll just be a statement that a lawyer probably concocted for the company or develop, I should say, develop for the company. All right. So they've breathed a little bit. Yeah, it's a shade of aroma, but yeah, they're mostly not aromatic. Here we go. Cheers. It's dry in flavor and finish. It's medium bodied. The sweetness level is there. I mean, obviously, a level would be there, but I mean, there's a level that's, I guess you say moderate, moderately sweet. It's not pronounced, but it's detectable. And then the finish is dry. So, is this an extraordinary white? I don't think I've ever had an extraordinary white rum. Look at what I've got in my collection. You would say, I don't think Captain Morgan White and Bacardi Silver is extraordinary. Those are not really expensive. Yeah. So extraordinary silver rums, clear rums, white rums. I don't know what they are. I don't have them. I would like to have them, but I don't. I don't. I don't. I don't know what brands those would be. Um, Honestly, I just don't know. Um, I'll admit that. Okay, over here. Now, some of the more aged rums, the dark rums, those black rums. Yeah, I mean, I do know some about some of those. They might be aged 20 years and charred oak, something like that. These are not. Um, Clean, dry, but with some sweetness. So it's not totally dry. There is some sweetness, some grassiness. Oh boy, these things are a difficult process to proceed through, really, because these Sazerac rums and really any Sazerac liquor, they're bourbon whiskey, they're blended bourbon, they're blended American whiskey, they're tequilas, they're rums, they're brandy, they're all so similar. There's such a house style with these people. I really think that if you did any Sazerac brand, but meaning Buffalo Trace, and you went up against a competing company, you would get it right probably most of the time. Just you may not like one or the other. That's up to you if you like one or the other. But I just think you wouldn't get them mixed up because Sazerac has that house style. There's just something about, I don't know if it's the yeast. If it's I don't know what it is. It's just something that makes it have a common aroma and flavor. I mean, you can get benchmark cheap, cheap bourbon, and it's gonna have. I'm saying this because I believe it. It's gonna have some commonalities with their more expensive bourbons. Now, some people get offended by that because they're like, hey, wait a minute, I paid $90 for that, and you talking about benchmark. I say, I know what you paid, and I see it coming around here, and I understand what you're saying, and it's a well-known product, and people wait in line for it. I know that. I get that. I'm saying, but if you sit down and you make an honest assessment, I think you're going to say, they really aren't that different, you know? Are these different? They're different in a sense, but in no profound way. They're not even different in a marginal sense. They're different in a very narrow way. Um, I would say if you're buying these, and it's going to be the same story. I mean, it's going to be a repetitive video. If you don't watch them, I don't take offense, but it's going to be the same story with size right products, one versus the other. Just get the one that's cheaper. You say, well, this one's $6.99 and that one's $6.79. Okay, save the 20 cents, assuming they're both in the same size bottles. Get the one that's 20 cents cheaper. I mean, it's literally that close. Um, I'm not saying that because I have an axe to grind with Sazerac. I'm not saying that because I have some kind of like hidden animosity towards them. I'm saying that because that's what I'm experiencing. They're very common one to another. I've got, well, okay, there are exceptions. Okay, so they're very common one to another except for Caliber. Now, Caliber is a strange animal. That is a very weird product. It's a good, to me, it's good, but it's strange. You know, so, like you saw a movie, you say, oh, that movie was strange, but it was good, you know. Personally, I don't like movies in general, but yeah, I'm just using that as an example. So, Caliber is a little bit over the top. So I don't envision getting Caliber wrong. Yeah, they have natural flavors, and it's like they decided to use strawberry shortcake as their natural flavor. Like literally, they ordered thousands of cases of strawberry shortcake, and they let the rum age in that. It's bizarre. It's bizarre, but it's memorable. As you can see, I can't forget it. But these are just common. Herbie in India says hi. Hi to you. So are these off-putting and bad in any way? No, I wouldn't say so. No, I don't believe they're off-putting or bad in any way. But what do I know for rum? And even if I did, wouldn't even matter because the other thing. No, but I mean, I did just taste like, honestly, regular silver rum. Like they're all like why are you paying $40 and you can get one that's $6.99? It basically tastes the same. But it's yeah. Now people will tell me, and I have people tell me, "Oh no, don't buy that. It'll give you a terrible headache." I bought that, gave me a terrible. Yes, that's a common comment I get from people that such and such low end product gave them a terrible headache, and I believe it. In my case, I don't get headaches from these products. I don't care how cheap they are. You know, it could be the lowest, as they say, rot gut product, and it just doesn't bother me. I mean, I guess if you drank a whole bunch of it, like I did with that Four Loko Black label, the Four Loko Black, that's what it's called, Four Loko Black. Yeah, that now I felt terrible the next day at work. I felt really bad. You know, I was feeling so sick. But that's a beer, you know, technically at least. Maybe not in reality, it's a beer, but in a technical sense, it is. But I didn't get a headache from it. It didn't give me a headache. I just felt horrible for 24 hours. Oh man, that was a nightmare. All right, a living nightmare. I had to go to work feeling like that. How much are they drinking? You see, that's what I'm wondering too, because people will tell me this Carlo Rossi wine gave me a headache. But I'm thinking, did you drink like 4 ounces like I did in the video? Because you know, you see my wine videos, I do like 4 ounces. Or did you drink half the bottle? You know, I don't know what, because I see people, their consumption levels are astronomical. And I'm thinking, I don't know. I think, and people say, I'm going to have a glass of wine. It's like people in my family are going to have a bowl of cereal. They'll say, I'm going to have a bowl of cereal before I settle down for the night. And I say, what family is that for? You know, a bowl, that's like a bucket. You know, it's like, this is not a bowl of cereal. This is like half the box. And then they get it, man, you know, oh, there you go. There we go. There we go. I was like, we're not going anywhere. You sitting there telling me, oh, I need to lose weight. I'm way overweight. I need to lose weight. The doctor said if I lose weight, I wouldn't even have a diabetes issue. Okay, so you're telling me this on one hand, and the other hand, you're going to eat a bowl of cereal and as big as a serving platter. It's like, what is this bucket? So it's like you can't win. It's like a game where you cannot win. Either choice you make, you lose the game. I was like, why are you telling me these things, but then you're doing things in front of me that are undermining the things you're talking about? All right, so it could be that they're drinking so much it's giving them a headache. So I haven't, but I mean that Four Loko, that was a bad day, and but when I went to sleep, I was like, well, I was thinking to myself, well, this was a little overdone, obviously. And for anytime the word Four Loko comes into play, that means that there's a real strong potential for trouble, right? It's like you're asking for problems. And I knew that going in, but I just thought, okay, it's not going to be so bad. And I did sleep through the night, but sleep through the night like somebody gave you chloroform and they knocked you out like in a movie, and you're like unconscious. It's like not proper sleep, like that kind of sleep. So I woke up and I was like, oh no, I'm feeling really bad. And I felt bad. I mean, I felt really bad. And now the next day I felt better. I was like, no more of that. But I did revisit it, but I didn't get a headache. I did not get a headache. I just felt like hell. It's odd how, Craft Beer Tastic says, it's odd how strict government is with listing ingredients on retail food packaging, but liquor seems to get a pass. Yes, that's right. It is odd, but it's not required. You see, it's not a law. They did pass that Food and Drug Administration law back in 1971, which said all food products had to have the ingredients listed. Okay, but but it was not adopted for liquor. Not totally. So with liquor, do you have to put the ingredients? Well, yes and no. Yes and no. Yes, you have to tell what it is. But if you're adding flavoring or coloring, you don't have to disclose it, but then sometimes you do. It depends on each product. And I don't know what the reasoning is behind that. It's like, well, for rum, you don't have to tell if you add flavoring. But for this other product, oh, you absolutely have to say if you're adding flavoring. So it's like, well, why? But why is that the rule? It's the same. It's all liquor, right? So I don't know. I don't know. Okay, back to this. So I don't know the why. Why do they have that rule? Those different rules? I don't know. The answer is, but on the other hand, yes, but I do know the rules. The rules are clear. All right. For rum, no, you don't have to tell if you add flavoring. You can add flavoring and you don't have to say so. But for other liquors, you can add flavoring and you have to say so. Now, that's the point I don't get. And then the whole bourbon thing is so convoluted that you will get a headache reading about that. It's like bourbon, or you can't add flavoring. So if you look at the regulations on their face, right, it'll say bourbon. You cannot add flavoring. But it's not exactly the way it is. So it'll say bourbon. Flavoring, no, can't add it. Coloring, no. So there's no disclosure because you can't add it. Fine. But then you go to the liquor store and there's like 3 or 4 bourbons. It'll say bourbon with natural flavoring. Well, I just read the Bureau's website and it said you can't add flavoring. Oh, no, you can't add flavoring. But you can sell a bourbon with natural flavors. So you can't sell a flavored bourbon. That's highly illegal. Are you mad? Have you lost your mind? You can't sell flavored bourbon. Are you crazy? You say, what about a bourbon with natural flavoring? Oh, well, you can add that. You can sell that. Every liquor store has that. So you see what I mean? It's like these little technical details that they might follow the letter of the law, but they certainly don't follow the spirit of the law. So people will say, I'll watch videos that say you can't add flavor in the bourbon. I said, no. You're right, but you could sell bourbon with natural flavors, and then they get all complaint. You know, they're all like, "What are you talking about? I'm going to block you." I was like, "No, I read the regulations." You know. Tommy Carroll says, "Cheers, Louisiana Liquor Reviews. The apartments you were mentioning on Jackson Square, is that where the mayor of New Orleans lives rent free?" Well, Tommy, I was hoping nobody would mention that. We're not going to discuss those current complicated issues. Not to my knowledge, as a used car salesman would say, not to my knowledge. Uncle Ron, I'm sitting here drinking on a Lone Star beer while eating some hog's head cheese and crackers. Well, that sounds very good, Invasion. I'm going to go buy some more hog's head cheese. All right, so we got to get down to it. Ready to get down to it, aren't you? Oh, okay. So I think that this one to my right side, your left, my right, I think this one is more sugary. Is it profoundly more? No. Is it significantly more? No. Does it taste a lot different? No. They're very similar, which is, I wouldn't pay a penny more one for the other. Honestly, I wouldn't pay a penny more. So if I get it wrong, I'm going to be aggravated, but I won't be devastated because I've said that in the build up, the build up part where I build up to the end, that I thought that their products are so similar that it's very difficult to tell them apart. So I think this is the Calypso due to the somewhat pronounced sugary note. I got it. Oh well, it's not much of an achievement, but it is a minor achievement, and so okay, I have one win and two losses. I'm on my way back. I'm like the little engine that could. So I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. You know what? I know I can. Yes. Yes, I know I can. I got that choo choo. I got that choo choo. I got that choo choo. Like the little engine that could. I got that choo choo. I got that choo choo. I got that choo choo. Like the little engine that could. I think I can. 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 You know what? I know I can. I got that choo choo. I got that choo choo. I got that choo choo. Like the little